we do have a pattern of Trump and our allies in Europe on the verge of putting serious pressure on Moscow when Putin offers a meeting as a way to divert that pressure. And that's clearly what Putin is trying to do right now.
Okay, we have learned that there will be a high-level staff meeting ahead of that. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is expected to attend that. What needs to happen in that meeting to set the scene for a productive outcome between President Trump and Putin?
Well, when President Trump agreed to host Putin in Anchorage, Alaska in August, again, Putin reached out to the administration when Witkoff, special envoy, came to Moscow a few days before a deadline, a Trump deadline, for Russia to stop shooting or to face major sanctions. And so Putin got a meeting, and that dissuaded Trump from proceeding with the sanctions, which he had said would happen if Moscow did not stop shooting. So Putin's trying to do this now because Trump is talking very seriously about giving Ukraine Tomahawk missiles, which would be able to strike at least 1,500 miles into Russia. It would be a good new weapon for Ukraine in order to deal with Russian aggression. So that Putin's aim is to prevent the United States from giving Ukraine those missiles and to offer a meeting, but a meeting in which he will not offer any concessions.
So
we'll see.
Yeah, so what are then your expectations of any productive outcome of that meeting between the two in Budapest?
I think that President Trump learned his lesson from Putin's bad faith in Alaska. So he wants Rubio to meet with either Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, or Ushakov, Putin's foreign policy advisor, to see if Putin is really willing to offer a compromise position at a summit. So I think this is good for them to have the meeting at that level before. Because Trump doesn't want to seem again to not put pressure on Moscow in exchange for no real compromise from Putin. So I don't expect Putin to make any compromise.
So then is there a chance that this high-level meeting in Budapest won't go ahead if the meetings at a staff level beforehand don't reach an outcome?
I think that is a reasonable possibility. But if Rubio is not satisfied then, and Trump once again begins to talk very seriously about giving Ukraine the arms it needs to put real pressure on Moscow, Putin may then say, okay, I'm willing to do X or Y or Z. But I don't think he would actually do something which is a step towards peace, because Putin wants to continue the war, and he believes as long as the United States does not amp up pressure, Putin, will win this war.
This obviously comes off the back of the Middle East peace deal, which is currently holding at its stage 1 phase. Is there some momentum that President Trump will take to that meeting, should it eventuate in Budapest, that could help his cause?
I think that Trump pulled off a terrific achievement in the Middle East. I spent almost half my career in the State Department working on Arab-Israeli issues. So what Trump did was extraordinary. But Trump also explained, after the deal was cut last week, that, in fact, his bombing of Iran was essential to that deal. He needs to apply the same logic towards Russia and the war, its aggression in Ukraine. He needs to put major pressure on Putin. Otherwise, Putin will not agree to a durable peace, which is Trump's goal.
Do you expect, should the meeting go ahead, the war will obviously be top of the agenda, but what other items do you expect might be discussed? I presume trade would be amongst one of the headline agenda items.
Well, the Kremlin has been trying to seduce Trump by saying there could be wonderful economic cooperation if we could just agree not to make this war in Ukraine an obstacle to it. But Trump, to his credit, has said, no, let's fix the war in Ukraine. Let's end your shooting at Ukrainians, and then we'll talk about trade. So Moscow may try to raise trade as bait for Trump not to push for Putin to end the war. But I don't think Trump will go for it. It would be a very bad look if he did.
This development comes ahead of President Trump's meeting with Zelensky. He's in the Ukraine. He's left the Ukraine. He's in Washington now. How do you expect this development to impact on the meeting that is about to take place in Washington between Ukraine and the US?
Well, I think, again, the Russians probably reached out because they were concerned that Trump was really moving towards a decision on Tomahawks and maybe economic measures against the Kremlin. And so you had this conversation. You know, Putin is pretty good at charming world leaders. That's what KGB officers do. And so he's hoping this will persuade Trump not to move ahead with Tomahawks. And certainly Tomahawks will be on Zelensky's agenda when they meet tomorrow, as will other arms arrangements and restrictive measures on Russia's economy. So all these things will be on the agenda tomorrow. But Putin's hoping to take the wind out of Zelensky's sails with today's phone conversation, and maybe he will. We'll have to wait and see.
Is there a compromise deal that you think might be satisfactory to President Zelensky that doesn't involve Tomahawks?
Well, the Tomahawks are a mean to persuade Putin to negotiate a durable peace. Putin doesn't want a durable peace. Trump has said, even before he took the Oval Office again, that Ukraine's independence is in the interest of the United States. But Putin wants to control Ukraine. He doesn't want Ukraine's independence. That's why you need major pressure from the West, especially the US, to persuade Putin to negotiate. So Zelensky has accepted 5 or 6 Trump compromise proposals since March. Putin has accepted none, really. And that's the problem.